incoming sporadic lukewarm music opinions, Sign of the Times isn't that great of an album. The production doesn't do it for me. It's weirdly minimalist and pretty tacky at times.
Kill him! Kill him! Kill him now!
Magdalena's electronic elegance and FKA Twigs should date me.
Thanks so much for coming in.
That's okay.
Collage by Bahamadia should be in the same conversations as the most classic hip-hop albums. How I Do by Rez is a severely underrated album. Runaway is one of the greatest pop songs of all time. Thank you, Mike the Snare. Yeah Right by Vince Staples is one of the craziest collaborations in music history. Vince, Kendrick, and Sophie in the same track? I'm never getting over that. Car Seat Headrest isn't that good. Sorry, Will Toledo. Too whiny for my taste. Dead Kennedys is easily the best punk band. The vocalist for Gilla Band sounds like Pauly Shore.
Come on, Tybalt. Let's see what it was.
How many different ways has he said to Tybalt?
Tybalt.
Streaming services and the internet was a disgrace against music, and we should permanently eradicate social media. I think people who aren't passionate about music shouldn't be out and about in society until properly converted in my conversion camps. Everyone should follow suit, and I say music should be worshipped at all costs.
You're being like a total fascist.
All these artists and albums have in common is that they're all on streaming. But what about the ones that got left out? Sometimes artists themselves choose not to put on streaming, which I respect, but it's still inconvenient to me. They never think about the fans. We're nothing without us. Don't you know your value is dictated by your ability to appease the most amount of people? An artist has my respect when they have consistently shown that they value quality, integrity, and principles more than broadening their audience. But since I have Spotify and I'm evil and selfish, there are plenty of incredible albums that are not on the platform. And I really respect that, but also it's inconvenient, and sometimes I wish it was on Spotify, and it's just annoying. Luckily, I know music outside of shitty artificial algorithms and have the democratic ability to express to the digital void of how knowledgeable I am. So, let's get into it.
Both nuts weigh 2 pounds, all on your bitch like futons.
I don't care that this is meant to be an Apple exclusive. Put it out on Spotify, Frank. He's not gonna do that, let alone release new music. Even though this album is known for being the throwaway album that was meant to fuck over his label and Blonde was the real record, Endless is still really good. I don't know why this isn't as prominently well regarded. It's an abstract electronic R&B trap album with pretty ambient production. This is a very unique record. The album feels like it's flowing through continuous brief thought. It isn't as full and cohesive as Blonde, but that's not what the album is going for. It really succeeds in this airy, cold atmosphere it creates. The first track, which is a cover of Aaliyah's cover of the Isley Brothers song, is one of Frank's best and beautiful, easily. It's gotten me through tough times, so I'm a bit biased. It's probably the most complete track in the whole album, but I really like how this album structure is fractured and ever-flowing. I think I almost prefer the vibe of Endless than Blonde, but Blonde is too personal for me to say that for sure. That would be blasphemous. You can find Endless in a Reddit thread. It'll have a drive. It's not hard to look for. If you're a fan of Frank and haven't listened to the album, this is required listening. Listen to it. I also appreciate the movie Waves for repping a few songs off the album. Very well utilized. Also, I can't believe the director for that movie directed that Weekend movie. Why did you sign up for this, Trey Edward Schultz?
And I just want to help you, Abel.
I guess they can't all be winners.
I fuck the music. I make it curl. I fuck the music with my serpent curl.
The band for annoying people. Jokes aside, this is a great debut. I know it's a mixtape, but fuck you. Riot already has a strong, aggressive vocal presence. Andy Morin's excellent production, and sampling is on point, though Zach Hill doesn't get to display his energetic, abrasive drums that he would later display on later albums. But still, it's just a solid experimental rap album. They're also great live. I would know. Unfortunately, due to sample clearances, it can't be on streaming, but you can download it for free on their website. You should listen to this album to start being annoying.
Meteoroid is a storm that's devoid of the fire that propels.
This album is if you ever feel like frolicking in the magical medieval fields, narrated by a mystical, whimsical bard.
Head smashed in and his heart cut out and his liver removed and his bowels unplugged and his nostrils raped and...
This album changes fucking lives. The arrangements, the lyrics, the vivid imagery, that harp. I haven't experienced anything similar to this album. It's graceful, bewitching, visceral beauty. Props to everyone who played and worked on this album. You killed it. This deserves all the flowers it can get. I respect Joanna's convictions for not releasing this on Spotify due to unethical practices and unjust treatment toward artists. But I can at least still enjoy her Muppet song at least. And she's married to Andy Samberg?
Felt so good when I did it with my penis.
Also, Steve Albini and Jim O'Rourke worked on this album. These two guys have the most prolific and versatile careers. If you know, you know. These guys know talent when they hear it. And speaking of Jim O'Rourke, you like that cover, right? Don't let it dissuade you. In fact, I'd even say the cover art perfectly accompanies this album. This album is pure bliss. It's the pinnacle of art pop. Beautiful, swelling synths and strings, melancholic horns, fantastic melodies. The orchestration is so lovely. And the despondent lyrics juxtaposes the playful sound, overall creating a profoundly bittersweet experience. All killer, no filler. Even the final track. This fucking album should be considered a classic. Why isn't it talked more? It's one of the most beautiful albums I've heard in a while. I also recommend listening to his follow-up, Insignificance. It's just as brilliant, but Eureka personally touched me more with its more eclectic and gorgeous musical moments. I listened to this record 2 months ago and it's slowly becoming a part of my most cherished and special albums to me. I don't listen to a lot of city pop, but I can confidently say this is a great album. Easy, breezy, no easy. This album gets you in a good fucking mood. Such a pleasant experience. It's joy and positivity distilled in a cute 39-minute package. For some reason, Tatsuro made most of his music hard as shit to find because he's petty and he hates you. Though you can find it on Internet Archive or Drive and some Reddit thread or something. There's also Dailymotion, but I refuse to turn off my ad blocker, and you should refuse to as well. But this album is worth the time searching for, unless your musical diet consists of misery and death.
My smile is stuck. I cannot go back to your frown land.
I know this album to a lot of people is stupid, pretentious garbage and has nothing of value. You may even know that the band wasn't improvising, and that they actually arduously practiced until they played the whole album right. But you hold the opinion that just because you practice hard to play bad doesn't make it good. I see that perspective. But I think that's a really reductive way of looking at the album. Art, really? You think this album contributed to absolutely nothing? And is objectively bad because you say so? You think these people's hard work amounted to nothing? Art isn't dictated by if it looks pretty or if you enjoyed it personally.
Maybe art isn't always about what you like. Not everything is your Spotify Wrapped. Grow up.
I enjoyed, I think it's one of the most important and influential albums of all time that has true merit in existing. Irony poisoning isn't real. It's just another cowardly way of saying you genuinely like something. And I also don't like it when people refer to mediums and creations as anti-art or anti-music. The Dada movement righteously proclaimed that their movement was anti-art. But it's so clearly still art. So stupid. I get it. They want to make it seem countercultural and they're challenging culture and people, which, well, yes, they are. But don't disparage the entire medium that you yourself are currently participating in for the vain purpose of making you seem extreme. You want to have your cake and eat it too, which is a cowardly, pompous attitude to have. Despite the art being anything but, you become the very thing that you defiantly say you are against. I just realized I didn't talk about the album at all and went on a tangent about art and culture. Okay, back to the album. A compilation Brian Eno constructed during the no-wave scene in the 70s. Brian Eno is one of my favorite artists, not just his innovative ambient stuff. Check out his first two albums. There are some solid rock records. Here Comes the Jets is one of the greatest art rock songs of all time. I would describe no-wave as the musical equivalent to Dadaism. It's one of my favorite musical scenes and genre of music ever. It's if you took punk but stripped the traditional rock and blues elements and meshed it into funky, danceable dissonance, maybe some freeform sax, and pure, unadulterated effervescence. The compilation houses 4 songs from 4 different bands each. James and the Contortions, Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, Mars, and DNA. My personal favorite is the Contortion sections because I love the free jazz aspects and their punk approach to the genre. They were even the first to be described as such. If you ever want to get a feel for the more dissonantly vigorous and experimental spectrum of the no-wave movement, this is a great album to start. Love it. It's another no-wave album, but This one's built different. Glenn Branca's music is if you took modern classical music and put it through an avant-garde noise rock lens. His orchestral band had members such as Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth and Michael Gira of Swans. You can clearly hear the influences in how Sonic Youth tune and play their guitars. Glenn Branca pretty much pioneered and shaped the future of post-rock. Guy's a genius! This album has such blistering yet beautiful guitar passages throughout, and the closer title track, oh my god! One of the most transcendental songs I've ever heard in my life. No hyperbole. Quickly became one of my favorites of all time. Truly one of its kind. This is one giant rapturous experience. Its simplicity is where this album truly shines. Each track builds momentum until the climactic third track, then the final part acting as falling action. I don't know how to explain it, but this music truly feels alive. The guitar work in this is actually that visceral and profound. You really feel like you're drowning in a tsunami, swept by its raging waves. Since my first listen, I've always been subsumed by the world, the event that this album creates. It's a phenomenal project. Best Boris album, hands down. A different change of pace compared to the rest of this list because this is a film score. An amazing collaboration between these two. You may know Robin Guthrie for collaborations with Cocteau Twins and Harold Budd with his collaboration with Brian Eno, My Pookie. Amazing of Greg Araki to get a hold of these guys to create this ambient masterpiece for this movie. Accompaniment. A beautiful accompaniment to the whole to the movie. This movie made me cry. Would watch again. I never got why people said that. Good movie, but I would never watch it again. Of course I'd watch Requiem for a Dream again. The editing, acting, score, and atmosphere is unique and oozes excellence. Why would I not want to watch it again? Also, check out Greg Araki's Teen Apocalypse trilogy. I love it with all my stone cold heart.
Eat my fuck. He was an anus face.
Don't get your uterus all tied in a knot.
I can't find the source of why this isn't on Spotify, but off the top of my head, I think there was this guy who was being a dick to one of the guys, and then it's just not on streaming out of spite. So to whoever it was, be ashamed. Live with it for the rest of your remaining time on this earthly realm.
I can say I like its face if I...
This is a depressing album. It's very intimate and personal, and a lot of heart was put into it. The title track is one of the best folk songs I've heard. Very solemn yet beautiful. The album's subdued and sparse, but I don't think this album would work if it wasn't. No jokes here. It's just a really heartfelt piece of work. Okay, honorable mentions. Y'all ain't ready for the house. This is an album that plays one dissonant open chord on an acoustic guitar as the singer croons for 40 minutes. So it's even more euphoric when the final song plays and it plays a different chord. Whoa. It's a very rewarding experience. Worth every second of your time. Very liminal, very strange. Also really like how the album ends with him having one last dry whelp as he strums.
Just a shaking shake.
Industrial at its best. Absolute essential for the genre. A surreal, disturbing, and chaotically aggressive take on industrial music.
I'm taking it to strange new places.
This would be one I would put more emphasis on, but I don't have a lot more to say than it being a really good, dreamy post-punk album. And Swamp Thing is one of the best songs in the genre. Why isn't most of their stuff available? I need dark ambience. Enter the world of exploitative streaming, you cowards. Pure orgasmic noise. One of the greatest music experiences you can possibly have. It's so hypnotizing and monstrably intense. Just listen to it.
I'm addicted to prostitutes!
Infamous power electronics album. I think it deserves to be on streaming. Clipping also made a sick sample out of one of their songs.
She don't need you for shit, but your dick and your veins and your
Probably the most well-known power electronics band. I wish most of their stuff was more easily available. God, I'm really outing myself to be like this fucking edgy motherfucker. Fuck. I'm not saying I listen to noise music on a casual basis. I just think it'd be nice to have these guys have a bit more easier access. I promise I'm not trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy. Please believe me.
There is nothing to be, and there is no one to know.
Dreaming of the crop of neo-folk and occultish music, it'd be really nice to,
Cleaned his ass, and time passed. He took an oath.
fun album with a true DIY spirit by a horny middle-aged crossdresser. This comment pretty much sums up his sound. Check out My Bro and Drugs, Drugs, Drugs. They're great. And fuck it, songs that aren't on streaming. Devachka made 2 songs for these 2 movies, one of them being Little Miss Sunshine, and the other for I Love You, Philip Morris. They're both great. Devachka should score more movies. There needs to be more movies like Little Miss Sunshine and I Love You, Philip Morris.
I'm gonna come!
Make more Devachka core movies. Fiona's cover of Pure Imagination that she made for fucking Chipotle is really good. It's pretty excellent. Here's my Fiona Apple ranking. Yeah, that's right. Fetch the Bolt Cutters is her best album. Okay, technically a leak, but Prayer by Kendrick Lamar is too brilliant of a song to not be officially released. And the song Cartoon and Cereal, it's so good. Frustrates me it's not released either. Do Ya Thing by Gorillaz. Collaboration with James Murphy of LCD Sound System and Andre 3K. I just love how it just immediately goes off the rails in 4 minutes and 30 seconds as they do just whatever they want for their required time for the Converse sponsor.
It's all about me and the show!
Right Where It Belongs, version 2 by 9 Inch Nails. A solemnly beautiful alternative rendition of the closer for With Teeth. I might even prefer it to the original, honestly. It's just really lovely. I'm a gigantic Trent Reznor fan. I love everything this man does. I tend not to have musical idols, because as I don't think that's wise, but if I were to pick one, it'd definitely be him. Besides punk legends like Ian MacKaye, Henry Rollins, and Jello Biafra. Hazel by Far Apart. This is such a good song. And it sucks nobody picked these guys up in the 90s because these guys are really talented. All Flowers in the Time Towards the Sun by Jeff Buckley and Elizabeth Fraser, singer of Cocteau Twins. Amazing song by these 2 incredible artists. I question every day why Jeff Buckley drowned in that fucking lake. I think that was it. Listen to Flood instead of Sign of the Times. Fuck you. Filming this with my fucking iPhone SE. Sorry I don't have cool setup or LED bisexual lighting or whatever, but at least you can see me, you can hear me. That's all that matters, supposedly. At least the video quality isn't terrible. I've been watching these people who have been recording themselves about their woes, and a lot of them somehow attain this low video quality. How is that possible? Yeah, I know it's a vibe, but how are you doing that? How?